we are.
On
Deep Tracks Only. I'm Colt Westbrook.
I'm Philip Hunsicker.
And today we are going to be here for your complete enjoyment. Your complete enjoyment. So we'll start with band names. Complete Enjoyment. That sounds like a band that would tour with Fish.
Complete Enjoyment.
Complete Enjoyment. They would like
That's
open.
an album.
For sure open
That's an
for
album
Fish.
name.
Complete Enjoyment?
Yeah.
You know what? It's not an album name. It's like a greatest hits name. You know when bands name their greatest hits album?
I didn't know that that's the thing.
They name their greatest hits albums, but they name it something else that's not greatest hits, like The Long Road or A Journey Complete. Complete Enjoyment would be like a greatest hits album name. But it's also like, why don't you just name it greatest hits? Because that's what it is.
Yeah. And you don't know what you're getting into. And then you're sitting there listening to songs you already know.
You could also argue against that. It's like, well, why do I have to name it what it is? So should I just name my second album what it is? Second album, 12 tracks. Second album, 49 minutes of rock. That would probably sell better. Don't you think so?
That's really good. You know exactly what you're getting into.
You know, there's no hidden surprise. There's no wrapping paper on this album. 12 tracks, 49 minutes of rock and roll.
49 minutes of rock.
Last song is the saddest. Right?
You could toss in some other, like, this one will be this genre.
Yeah.
It's like, so those people know exactly what track to go to.
Right. Last song is the one that the producer and the label said no to, but they let you have it on the last track. When albums have...
So then you know to start there.
Yeah, when albums have 14 songs, that's when you know that happened.
Yeah. Or they have the hidden song at the end. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I feel like we don't do that anymore. You can't do that because Spotify reveals all. Man. It's like, oh, the song's 27 minutes. No, of course it's not. Unless it's Godspeed You Black Emperor, then it is for sure a full song. But if it's not, it's for sure a hidden track, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's fast forward to band names. So each episode, we're going to present a band name. This is a fictional band name. This is not a real band name, but this is a band name that we've come up with. And what you have to do is you have to say the band name. You have to say what genre of music they are. You have to say what their debut album was called, and then who they're currently out on tour with. And just for clarification, we own 100% of the rights on all of these band names. So if you take these band names, we'll absolutely sue you. So unless you ask us first.
Yeah.
And then all you have to do is ask, and then you have rights to it.
You can have it.
And then you can have it. You just have to email me. You have to email me at sales@coltwestbrook.com.
Oh, man.
Just
I
kidding.
thought you were about to give.
But seriously. Okay, why don't you do your band name first? What do you got today?
You want me to go first? Okay, all right.
So. You went first last time.
My band, Captain Football. Captain Football.
Captain Football.
Yeah,
okay.
it came about ironically because it's a bunch of people that are not good at sports. But yeah, they're from Des Moines, Iowa, or Des Moines. That's how they say it. They're actually on tour right now, really big for them. They're out on tour with The Offspring and Metro Station because they're like emo punk band, and this is really big for them. It's a tattoo tour. It's called Ink Life Festival, and so they're out. Ink Life Fest. They just play like towards the end. Yeah. So, but it's a really big deal.
Dude, I went to ILF. I went to ILF 99.
That's where
it was just getting started.
Yeah, that's where I got all of my tats.
Yeah, and Stained was opening.
It was Puddle of Mud.
Puddle of Mud, dude. We could talk trash on Puddle of Mud, but I don't want to because they're so good.
Oh, I wouldn't talk trash.
Big Puddle of Mud fan. Yeah, great.
But Stained, you're gonna talk trash on Stained?
No.
Okay, they're good too.
No, I mean they're a good band. Yeah, I wouldn't like elect to listen to them, but when they're on, I don't change it.
Yeah.
You know, like if I'm in line for nachos at a water park. And Stained comes on, I don't leave the line. I just let it play.
I'll stay here. I'll keep getting.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's the last place I heard Stained though. Now that we're here, so far away. All right, band name. Black Hole Prom Queen.
Black Hole Prom Queen.
Black Hole Prom Queen. So, the Black Hole Prom Queen is, I have my notes here. Black Hole Prom Queen is the genre of post-punk revival. So post-punk where it kind of feels like indie music, but it's super roots.
What's another band in that genre?
Interpol, which is who they're out on tour with.
Dude, I had them on my MySpace page for a while.
Yeah, they're out on tour with Interpol, and their debut album was Please Crown My Tears.
Please crown my tears. Can you back up and tell me how they came up with this? What's the band name meaning?
Black Hole
This
Prom
needs
Queen.
to be added in there.
Well, that's for them to say. That's their podcast. This is our podcast.
Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah.
So if Black Hole Prom Queen does a podcast,
But if you had to,
how they got there?
Yeah, how'd they come up with that?
I feel like that's what a lot of people are doing right now. They're taking celestial themes and mixing it with, bad memories.
So
They're coming up with band names.
I think it's like ditching your old self.
Kind of like
That's what the
Imagine
band is.
Dragons.
That's a great name.
I just thought of it
That's
because that's what I do with most of my free time. Is just sit there and just imagine. I used to imagine minotaurs.
you still imagine.
I used to imagine centaurs.
baby aliens.
I imagine baby aliens, but now I imagine dragons. I've graduated. I want to bring on neighbor Amy today to talk about resting. Like, what does rest actually look like?
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's get neighbor Amy. Hey, neighbor Amy, welcome.
Hi.
We all pretend like we rest, right? We all have a Saturday, and so here at Walrus Audio, like, we're closed on Saturday, but some people are coming in on Saturday, tweaking stuff. Some people are coming in on Sunday tweaking stuff, but you generally take a day off or a day or two off, and we pretend like we rest. But I want to know if we're actually resting. So sometimes I'm exhausted after a weekend, and then on Monday I am tired starting Monday, right? And we have a 9 a.m. meeting every Monday where we just kind of get together and make a plan for the week and kind of, supposed to like high five each other and, all right, go get them, game. We got this, let's go, coach. That's what it's called. It's called Let's Go, Coach. But I'm often tired on Monday. What is real rest, and how do you formulate your weekend, or even like your vacation, or even like an afternoon off? Like, how do you actually rest where you feel recharged?
Wow.
Will you teach us?
Sure. Yeah, and I don't want to like culturally counter some of the things that matter to us by being like real old school and say things like, one of the issues we have with rest is that we live such fever-pitched paced lives. Fever-pitched paced lives.
Is that Jimmy Fallon and Drew Barrymore?
Maybe so.
Fever pitch.
Hold on, because here's the kicker, where we will not allow ourselves to untether from our work because it's constantly on our devices.
Okay, yeah. How do we do that?
Yeah.
Somebody have a pen? Can I have a pen? Is there a pen out there?
What do you need a pen for?
Because I'm
This is going to be recorded.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you could
notes.
just like zoom back on it.
I know, but I don't have a device, so I can't watch it.
Oh, well, then you're not experiencing what I'm talking about.
I'm just kidding. I have 6 iPhones.
So
No
literally
devices.
what actually constitutes as rest is feeling like you're untethered from work. Like you're untethered from work. But our work has built, in this culture, has built our identities. So it's really hard to kind of allow ourselves to not think, perform, and execute tasks related to our work.
So we should rest at work if that's our identity. Is that what you're saying?
Don't make it your identity.
Well, tell me more. Like, what do you think rest feels like for you? The art of good counseling is just being able to ask good questions.
So I will say stuff and you'll put the vocab to it, right?
Fine.
So for me, like exercising, like running or biking, and then I call that a brain bath, right?
Okay, yeah.
That's a brain bath for me, where I feel like my brain's taken a bath and it's clean now. And so this is micro rest, and then we can talk about macro rest, like vacations or days off. So say my mind is a room with a bookshelf, right? And then right around 11:30 a.m., all the books are scattered all over the floor. Mm-hmm. And and I'm worried about maybe like 19 things. It's like, oh my gosh, there's like 19 things happening. This is crazy. How am I going to go for a run, or whether it's in the morning or in the evening, or a bike? And then I look at the floor and there's actually only 2 books out. It's
Gotcha.
like, oh, those are the only 2 books that are actually, worth my time or worth me even worrying about. And I wouldn't even say worrying about, but sometimes I worry about them.
Right.
So
I'm going to give you kind of 3 real tangible tips here. So that's why I thought about coming. I was like, man, I want this podcast to be like, these actually really apply to you where you are right now.
do we have a soundbite for tangible tips?
Dude.
Tangible tips.
Why can't I have a band name called Tangible Tips?
That could.
You are getting it. That is a good band name.
Tangible
tips. Pause. Who are they on tour with?
Tangible tips. Oh gosh.
Tangible tips.
Well, first, we need to know the genre of music.
I mean,
Amy's like, let's get back to therapy. Come on.
no, I feel like Tangible Tips is on tour with like
Watched this
they're
podcast
MGMT.
and if I know what's happening.
I wasn't going there with the
Tangible
music.
Tips is on tour with MGMT.
Okay.
It's just 2 guys and a bunch of keyboards and computers and stuff.
MGMT? I know that band.
MGMT?
You know
Yes.
a band.
Electric
Yeah.
Phil, right? Is that right?
Shock me like an electric field.
I got one.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm cool. All right, I got it.
And that album made college so great.
It did. That was a great album.
Yeah.
I used to rollerblade to that song. Like I rollerblade around the lake when I was in college, and I loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah,
So-
you did.
All right, you want my tips?
Roasties? Like what kind of rollerblades we talking?
Oh gosh,
Do you grind on the pole and stuff?
like no,
You
like
use some tricks?
that's. I never want those words to be in a
I
sentence
should-
associated with me at
I
all.
should note that. That's also for rollerblading.
Hey team, we're
you
gonna cut that.
when you jump on the staircase and you go down the pole on the rollerblades. It's called okay.
That's not what I was thinking of.
Called
It's-
grinding.
Jeez. Which is also neither one of those are rest.
Nope. Let's go back to the tangible tips. Ready?
Okay. Gotcha.
So, in theory, if you work with your mind, as we do, like you work with your mind, so maybe you've got a desk job, maybe you've got, whatever it is that you're working with your mind, you rest with your hands. You rest with your hands.
Okay.
So you work with your
Is that
mind.
a metaphor?
I don't know.
No,
I'm just making this up
No.
as I go.
Okay, cool.
So if you have like a job that is, like you're compensated for the things you do on a computer, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Or on the phone or in person.
Like your editors, like your people that are just like clipping, and those people work with their minds. Like you think about like
data mining, process transfer.
yeah,
people.
I work with my mind because I'm constantly thinking for my work.
And so you rest with
Gardening
with doing things
or
like with your hands.
woodworking
I see where you're
or
yeah.
cleaning the house. Like I could go home and clean the house. Not that I want to, but I could go home and do laundry.
Yeah.
And that's restful for me because I hate laundry. Don't.
I was going to say, you picked the worst
I know.
home
Don't.
chore.
What
Yeah,
kind of
but
washer and dryer do you have? Why do you hate laundry?
You like laundry?
Like, you look like a Samsung person. Are you doing Samsung or LG?
Samsung?
Whirlpool.
What good job.
Yeah, that's the
Whirlpool,
they're OG.
Maytag, Speed
Yeah.
Queen. That's the way to go, dude.
But those are things that I would constitute as rest because they're not using my mind. I'm actually I've got some room to pull up and breathe. So people that work with their hands, ODOT, people that have physical jobs,
Oklahoma Department of Transportation.
Yeah.
they rest with their minds. So sitting and reading or sitting and watching television maybe.
Okay.
Or doing those things would constitute as rest for them. Where we overcomplicate this is where we think like I'm supposed to be resting, I have to do nothing, because people who are overperforming,
Right.
and remember the fever-pitched paced society we live in, constantly begs us to perform.
Yeah.
We actually have to figure out what feels like rest for us and then to mirror it as doing the opposite of what we consider work.
okay.
Does that make any sense at all? to
That
you?
No, it does make
so
sense.
much-
Okay.
It makes sense because I've been getting angsty the last couple of weeks, and my wife was like, "I think you need a project to work on here, right? Instead of just like regular maintenance, like mowing the lawn, edging, weed eating, you know, all that kind of stuff, blowing the driveway, picking up all the kids' trash outside, because God forbid they throw a granola bar wrapper away when they eat it or a popsicle stick. Yeah. But she was like, she's like, you seem like you're not so angsty and like, blah, ready to, you know, explode if you have like a project. She's like, remember when you built that shelf in the master bedroom? And I was like, yeah, I do. That was a fun project, you know? Or, so I need a project. Is that what you're saying?
It appears to be so.
And there's nothing more rewarding than finishing a project.
So on your Saturday...
I can think of a lot of things more rewarding than finishing a project. Like what about like world peace?
That's probably not. I mean, that's finishing a project.
You set the bar really high for those projects.
You finished world peace.
Yeah, I think you need...
It's a great project.
So I'm picking you as my counseling candidate here. So I choose you.
Okay.
So
I have been chosen.
Toy Story run, right, bro? Okay, very cool. All right.
So what feels like a better Saturday for you? Like just sitting around doing nothing, being still, which it might be very hard for some of us to figure out how to be still.
Yeah.
Or creating something with your hands that doesn't constitute as work, but feels like you accomplished something and you're proud of it. What feels more restful for you?
When I'm still, I think about work, and I think about like lots of problems or issues or things like that. And since I have access to work through my evil window, which is called the phone.
Evil window.
We're untethering ourselves from those things. We've got to figure it out.
Bro, let's figure it out. Let's do a podcast on that, actually. No, I think like working on a project or going on a mountain bike trail.
That's my next feed
son?
right there. Yep.
What is it?
Nature.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Nature feels like when even when I take the trash out at night and the walk from the street to the house,
which is kind of a ways at your house.
Even that feel right, because my driveway is a mile long.
Well, I'm just picturing me walking my trash out, and it's like I'm staying on pavement the whole time. I might see a tree or two. So it's like
my driveway is also pavement.
You have tons of trees, and it's beautiful. Yeah,
we have so much in common. We're just like each other.
I don't know about that.
When on the walk back, you know, which is like 100 steps or 50 steps, even that feels really great. When you can see stars and trees. Why is that?
Because nature is nurturing. Nature nurtures us.
That sounds like some BS sticker you buy at the Yellowstone National Park gift card or gift shop.
Well, if it is, then I want to patent it, and I need the money from that.
Nature is nurture.
But what does that actually mean?
It means that
what's actually happening besides a cool sticker that I should put on my Thule?
Oh,
Thule.
Oh yeah,
it's Thule. It's not Thule. It's Thule.
Well, what would you say to that? What would you say to me saying that, like, if you work with your mind, you rest with your hands. You work with your hands, you rest with your mind, and then we figure out a way to rest by having a balance of nature in our lives. What does that mean? You tell me, and then I'll tell you.
What does that mean for me?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Because I know you do it.
I do it all the time. I do it here all the time. Like, I feel like with projects, I like to do projects here.
Oh, I thought you were talking about going in nature, and I was like, we work inside.
No, I'm tying into like the hands. Like
we work in a concrete box.
Everybody's like, oh man, what do you do at Walrus Audio? You just like play instruments all day and stuff. And it's like, no, I do emails. I just sit at a computer and do emails. So I love to take on these projects here.
And let the record show that he doesn't write and respond to email. He does email.
I do emails.
So what's the difference?
Much more complicated. That's all I can say.
Okay, cool.
Doing emails is way more complicated.
Like 100 emails to do today.
So I got an answer for you, I think. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I've been ready for years.
So nature, getting ourselves into nature, obviously has all these mechanisms of exploring and wonder and awe, but it fully removes us from the conveyor belt of performance. That's why it matters. Like nature is something that I think if you're stuck in overperforming, overworked, if you're stressed, if you're trying to do a project and you can't get it off your mind. So I'm giving you two outlets here.
Okay.
So you either practice the first one where, okay, I work with my mind. I'm going to rest my hands. I'm going to try to schedule out some more projects and make my weekends really count towards like doing things with my hands that matter. Or I'm so stressed. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so anxious. I've got, like we talked about last time, I've got everything spinning in my head circularly. What do I need to do to rest? Well, I'm going to have to go out in nature, because nature just has this unique way of pulling you off the conveyor belt.
Yeah.
It will pull you off of it. You will get lost in wonder. You will be hot. You'll be sweaty. You'll, need to take some water or whatever, but it will actually be the thing that can reset you. And it's time. I think it's time worth spending. And this will tie us into vacations. First of all, vacations with your families are not vacations. Those are called trips.
Okay.
If you have small children at all, you know what I am talking about. But vacations, I think, are set up. I mean, they can be restful, but a lot of times we pack them in with experiences. A lot of times we come home from vacations if we've, done a lot of things and we are tired from, I call it a vacation hangover.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, vacation for your vacation.
So you're saying we need to bring the wood shop with us on vacation?
I mean, in theory, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay, cool. Gotcha.
I'm saying whenever you take a vacation, factor in that you need to be in nature for a portion of that vacation.
Yeah.
For it to really pull you into the rest you're looking for. Does that make sense? So like when we travel, if we go camping or whatever, we try to travel where we can hit national parks.
Yeah.
Because we can remember all the other things we did. We went whitewater rafting, we did this, we did that. But man, being in that park, that was something.
What park did you go to?
I try to go to all of them. And we got into Yellowstone.
Yellowstone's tight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Grand
What else?
Canyon.
Okay,
you want me
Grand
to
Canyon.
list them all?
Well, which one did you most recently go to?
Where was I?
Or what's your favorite?
Well, I really like the Rocky Mountains. We just actually whitewater rafted 2 weekends ago, Brown Canyon in Colorado.
Okay. What river is that?
That would be
Brown
the
Canyon.
Arkansas River.
Arkansas. Okay. It's nice. Yeah.
And we hit some class 3s and 4s, which for me, that's like a big deal.
That is a big deal. It'd be a big deal for me.
So it's kind of exhilarating. Yeah.
Way big deal. Way big.
He does email.
I do email.
But here, I'll prove my point. It was exhilarating. My kids loved it. We got a great picture. It was awesome. But do you know what I loved most about that trip?
What?
Was when there was just like still water. We're just on the raft, still water, and you've just got this canyon on both sides of you, and it's just calm. Well, that's when I could say, you know what, guys, I rested in that moment. Like it was just really satisfying.
Like you kind of just took us there for a little bit.
I did.
Why are rivers so great? The oceans are cool. Oceans are cool. It's great. Day at the ocean's fine. Lakes are great. But why are rivers? Why do rivers seem more reverent than all of those?
The sound.
Like a day in the river is like 1,000 days at the ocean. I'm just kidding. But it feels like
I probably would say it's balanced moving water.
Oh man.
It feels like life. It's like, the ocean, it's like it just rushes you.
Yeah.
Like the waves just crash into you.
It feels intense.
Yeah. But this river is just like wherever you are, whether it's just this tiny creek or this big, massive, wide river, it's just this balanced movement of water. I think our raft guide, his name was Roscoe, which is another cool name.
Roscoe.
He was telling me about something with eddies, right? Like there's these things called eddies.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to get your raft into the eddy, and then the eddy moves your raft in the direction that you want to go. And I'm just sitting there thinking like, man, so basically when you come back to work from your rest, find your eddy.
Oh, bro.
And it's just going to move you in the direction that you're supposed to go. And then you're not going to have to overwork yourself to find the balance.
Can an eddy be someone to do your job for you?
Sure. But honestly, this is about you.
I need to find 2 eddies.
If your name's Eddie, please apply to walrusaudio.com. All the Eddies, please email these guys.
Sales@coltwestbrook.com.
I don't think that's what he meant.
We'll figure it out. So, Big Bend National Park. That's my favorite national
I
park.
love that one.
Big
Rio
Bend.
Grande. Rio Grande? Rio Grande?
Yeah.
Which is
Rio
so,
Grande.
Rio Grande.
Which it really,
I'm kidding. I don't
it
know.
really
Yeah.
pulls. It kind of pulls the world together at the Rio Grande down and at Big Bend National
Yeah.
Park, because I mean you spend several days hiking through these
Desert.
mountains, and
Torrential.
it's absolutely gorgeous, and then you hit the Rio Grande at one of the hikes, and it is like, I mean, it's 10 feet.
Yeah.
There's nothing down. There's no fence. There's no wall. It's just like 10 feet, and there's Mexico. It's just like, look at us. Here we are.
know,
at
I
the
accidentally
edge of the
got-
world.
Lost in Mexico over there, and I didn't have my passport on me.
Oh my gosh! Did you make it over, or did you get?
Oh, I got pulled over by Border Patrol, and I had like a whole situation.
Oh, you're driving.
Yeah.
Oh, you're driving a car.
And I got lost.
Yeah, that's different
got-
than being on a hike.
You got lost in a different,
in Big Bend.
like,
Wow.
And then I got lost in Mexico, and my GPS wouldn't work because once you like stop navigation out there,
yeah.
you can't
lose it.
restart it. You lose it. So it's
Oh
either
my
like it's there or
gosh.
it's not there. So then I'm like trying to navigate maps. I'm by myself with two young children. Well, middle-aged children.
You have middle-aged
I
children.
mean, middle school age children. There we go. And
I got two kids. They're both older than me.
none of us had our passports on us because we weren't expecting to go to Mexico.
That's got to happen a lot down there.
Yeah.
Did you see a sign that says "You're leaving your country"?
Nope.
There's nothing down there like that.
Hold on a minute. Are you sure?
Wow.
Press yes.
It was just some back road, and then I like got pulled over by Border Patrol, and I like pitched the whole damsel in distress bit, and then they
Yeah.
like navigated me back to where I need. I was just trying to go to Marfa, Texas, to see some
Marfa.
Marfa stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that is a nice place, isn't it?
It's a great place, but you're gonna need better GPS tracking skills to get there from Big Bend.
Oh my gosh, that's a special place down there.
Yeah, I love it down there.
Yeah, you know who else loves it down there? Jeff Bezos. That's where Corn Ranch is. That's where they started launching all them rockets from, blasting the billionaires.
Well, there's
into
like a
space.
conservatory
Origin.
down there for that. Yeah, I took my son to it. It's pretty cool.
There's a conservatory down there for what?
A space conservatory.
Are you serious?
Yes. It's like a
Wait,
whole
and you
thing.
took
it
your
is-
son?
It is one of the darkest places in the world, like for sky watching.
Yes.
It's like a dark sky society
Yep.
down there.
And the stars.
Oh.
That's another thing is that, like, you know, finding ways to rest can also look like finding something bigger than yourself, or a story or a mission or a project that's just bigger than you.
Just
Yeah.
takes weight off. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like,
Because we end up like boxing our world in, and then we end up like just taking this pace to life that at times can just wear us down.
Yeah.
And then we need to find a way out. And so we're like, man, I got to learn to rest. And sometimes that looks like lots of different things. Sometimes that does look like doing nothing. And that's okay. If that's for you and you want to do nothing and that's rest, that's great. But also if you're stuck and you're just tired and you can't find your way out, go find something bigger than yourself. Like for me, thinking about the stars,
Yeah.
I can lay down in Marfa, and look up, and it's just so big. It just pulls you out of whatever smallness you might feel.
Yeah. I was with my rock and roll band in college, and we were in West Texas, and we were off the state highway, and there was literally nobody out there. But it was like in the heat, the day was super hot, and
Yeah.
the night had come, so the pavement was nice and warm, and we laid down in the middle of the state highway and watched the stars for like 20 minutes. Not a car came. And then we eventually moved because just by, theory of circumstance, a car would eventually come and kill us. So we got up. But
There's only 12 people
You're
in
not
West
there still.
Texas, so you're fine.
right. And it was a special night. Also, I think it's super important to educate yourself just a little bit about things that you are consuming, like the cosmos, so that you have an idea of what you're looking at.
Yeah.
The fastest way to do that if you're listening, is astronomy photo of the day. If you just
Okay.
Google astronomy photo of the day, what they do is they send you a photo from the Hubble or the James Webb Space Telescope, which is now, or something else, of something in the cosmos, and they explain how far away it is, how big it is, and what it is. What's a neutron star? What's a nebula? What's a nova? What's a globular cluster? What's a galaxy? You know, they kind of explain through all that stuff. And then when you look up in the sky, you kind of understand and get a small fraction of the thing that you're actually looking at.
Yeah.
It's pretty overwhelming.
Yeah.
If you start thinking about it. Let's think about it for just a sec.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we
And that was so overwhelming.
Man, I'm overwhelmed.
Me too.
That's
but also,
incredible.
I
I
hope your
rested.
listeners really Googled that stuff. because
Space
it's
is
good to
so
know.
large. Astronomy photo of the day. And it's
gonna look it up.
It's a group of scientists that have just put content together in a little paragraph
Yeah.
synopsis about what everything is.
I will say, like thinking back on my favorite memories, a lot of them, they involve stars. Just looking up in the stars. Like we went to Mesa Verde when I was a kid, and there was like a shooting. It was like a big event,
Yeah.
and it was just like no lights out there, just laid on a picnic table at night, and it was just shooting star after
Wow.
shooting star. It was one of my favorite memories. Yeah.
Let's do an exercise. I have an idea. And everybody listening, go back right now. Everybody close your eyes, right? And look back on your life and play a highlight reel of all the greatest things, of all the greatest memories. Ready? Go. How many of those are outside? Think about
And
that.
we have influenced their thinking.
Think about that,
All
though.
of them, because that's what the frame of the
Maybe because
topic
that's
was.
what we've been talking about. But how many of those are outside? How many excellent memories do you have of going to a movie? Actually,
Yeah, I was gonna say I have so many
I
excellent.
know. I saw
yeah.
Snakes on a Plane in a full theater with
man.
30
Well, hey,
friends.
I've got
And
kind
that
of a
was
correlation
That was one of
for
my
ya.
best life experiences. So,
Correlate us.
So what about the best concerts are at outdoor venues?
Oh yeah.
What about that? What about like you could be inside and it can, you know, obviously you get a feel. I mean, I want your bands to play everywhere because it's awesome and you need to make money and people want to hear your music, so it's good. But like the best concerts I've ever been to have been the ones outside. And I just went to Red Rocks, and I mean it's like on the highlight reel of my life.
What's Red Rocks? What is that?
You don't know what Red Rocks?
Just teasing.
Oh my word!
Man, thinking of outdoor concerts, seeing Thad Cockrell playing, man,
So
that was just
what
magical.
Philip's talking about. Thad Cockrell is a singer-songwriter out of Nashville, Tennessee. He's written lots of songs that you've already heard, and he has some amazing music of his own. But he did throw like a private concert party
Like
while
supper
we
and
were
song,
there at NAMM.
Yeah.
And it was probably 300 people.
Wow.
And it was like, and he ran it out of like a high school band PA. It's just like two mains and an analog board, but the musicians. So,
The New Respects.
yeah. So the New Respects were
Scotty
singing
Mills.
BGVs, and then
Taylor.
also Darius from the New Respects is playing drums.
And
Justin
Taylor-
Glasgow is playing bass.
He was?
Yeah, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure.
Was he?
I think so. I think it's when I met him.
Oh man.
Scotty Mills on
Gets
guitar,
better better.
and then Taylor.
Isn't it Johnson still?
I think it's Johnson. Yeah,
We have
on
another
guitar.
Taylor Johnson. Yeah.
That was a magical
Well,
night.
I cried many times.
that's probably why people say like music festivals, especially if they're camping and they're outside the whole weekend.
And we had one of our friends there from Belgium that we work with, and his favorite thing about the concert was, I like going to that show. It was very nice. You know the best part about that show? I look around, nobody's ugly.
I'm sure that did feel restful for him, didn't it?
I was like, yeah, you're in 12 South in Nashville. I guess that's what you get. So
Think about it though: music festivals, outdoor concerts, nature walks,
yeah.
rivers.
Yeah. I saw Rihanna and Kanye West outside. That was one of my favorite shows.
Really, that was your favorite
That was
show?
in Dallas. It was amazing.
That would
Changed
be.
my
I
life.
mean,
Oh,
the
yeah.
production.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
You and You're Welcome tour. It's really great.
All right. What's your next question?
No, I think it's all I have today.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, wrapping it up, Black Hole Prom Queen. And if you work with your hands, rest feels like doing nothing, sitting down and doing not much, like reading a book or
Yeah.
not being super active.
Right.
If you work with your brain,
Mind.
your mind, doing something with your hands
Yeah.
is super active, is super restful.
Super restful. Yeah.
In
So
any
true.
case, being outside for both parties is very beneficial.
Yep.
Yeah. Unless you work in the International Space Station.
And then you're going to need to what?
Then you need to suit up.
Man, that has to be, I mean, just, man, how crazy. That's rest. I'm sure it turns into work after a while, but just seeing that.
The International Space Station?
I know it's so hard.
It's so crammed up there. And just imagine
I'm just talking about going outside in your suit. They're like, wow,
I bet it's pretty cool.
Man.
Well, and I think too, like what people figure out what to do with their work lives is based on what they were passionate about. Okay. So you're passionate about something and then you love it until a certain point that like you build your work all around it. And what I'm concerned about is like, I want you to still love your job. Like, cause it was the thing that you said you were passionate about.
Oh yeah.
You really cared about it. And so that's why you do it. So how are you going to stay balanced in your passion for your job? Well, you're going to prioritize your rest. And it's got to look like something that really satisfies your soul, that the ache in you that's tired has to be less than the satisfaction of you filling your soul with things that really matter to you.
Start that over. Say it again. The ache in you that's tired.
Of your
The satisfaction of your work. Okay, so I want you, because our work ends up being the thing that we're passionate about. Like I stuck myself in a rabbit hole of psychology for a decade, not because I literally loved it.
Somebody didn't make you do that?
Nobody made me do that. I signed myself up for every one of those classes.
Wow, that's amazing.
I picked out the books. wrote the papers. I built the dissertation. All of it. I did it.
Are you a doctor?
I have a doctorate.
Are you serious, Colt? I knew that. Oh my goodness.
Doctor?
Not an MD, a doctorate.
With a doctorate.
So I signed myself up for all of that because I love psychology.
Yeah.
Just like you guys love what you do. So it can't equate my rest to, because it's my passion of work. So what satisfies my soul is what balances out my work and rest.
What satisfies my soul is what balances out my life.
Yeah,
my work and rest.
But the problem here is that people took their passion and built their work with it.
Yeah, which
so
is
now
hard.
They're stuck in their passion.
Yeah.
And they're not really seeking out that satisfaction of balance.
Is that why I end up loving a lot of albums that don't have guitar in them?
Probably so. It's probably fascinating to you.
That's probably why.
You do listen to like.
Then I said that the ache of being tired, like, that ache and you're just, some people say it's stress, but it's like just ache of tiredness. Like, I'm so tired. That has to balance out with you figuring out how to really nurture the parts of yourself that need to just be.
Yeah.
Because if you just make your passion your work, then you're just always working.
If you make your passion your work, then you're always working. But then you need to rest.
Yeah.
Get outside.
Prioritize it.
And subscribe to Astronomy Photo of the Day.
Correct. And come see my band, Tangible Tips.
Tangible Tips.
With MGMT.
On tour with MGMT. For the
grinding
first
at some
leg.
outdoor venue somewhere.
All outdoor shows.
In my all outdoor venues, could be this side of the U.S., could be that side of Mexico. We don't know.
Rosies.
Yeah.
Man, outdoor shows just need to have like no lights on stage or anywhere. And you just sit out there and listen to beautiful
stars.
music and look at the stars.
Yeah. Well,
Cold beer, good day.
Man.
That's an album.
Cold beer, good day.
Cold beer, good day.
Come see
That's
Tangible Tips.
Tips.
Cold beer, good day.
Cold beer, good day. No, that's like a country. That's like a 90s country artist.
I love 90s country. That is my favorite kind of country.
Chase Trekker.
Chase Trekker. That's the country artist.
That's
and the album name is
Chase Trekker.
That's a good country name.
Come see me.
Day.
Trisha Yearwood's going to do backup for me.
Dude,
Trisha
you're
Yearwood.
huge. If she's
She's
a friend. She's a family friend.
She's a family friend? Yeah. You're from Weatherford. Is she from Weatherford?
No, I'm talking to her right now.
Oh. Who's the famous guy from
Tangible
Weatherford?
Tips over
Who's the
here.
astronaut from Weatherford?
Oh, dude, Tom Stafford.
All right.
The
This
man.
is awesome.
Goodness.
Tom Stafford. Love it.
I think I derailed your host show. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
He made the stealth bomber on a napkin in a bar. Like that concept. Like
And to this day, it's the only bomber that
stealthy.
the that the Army, that the Air Force uses that's made out of napkins.
It's crazy. It's so light. That's
Thank you
why
for
it's so
joining
light.
us today. Dr. Amy, I appreciate you being on.
I liked Neighbor Amy. Dr. Neighbor
Neighbor
Amy.
Amy.
Dr. Neighbor Amy, thanks for being on, teaching us about rest. I learned a lot today.
Yeah.
Good.
I feel like I'm probably going to leave right now and go home. Aren't you guys? Lauren, Austin, Mia?
Let's go rest.
Well, it is
Everyone is-
Friday.
It's
yeah,
Friday.
I think
do
we
it.
should just go home. That's really great. And get
All right.
outside
Thank
and
you,
build
guys.
something made out of wood. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week time.
Yeah.
Boom.
See ya.
We're going to work on that.
We'll work,
Peace.
yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Bies. Hey, goodbyes. Thanks.
Thank you, people.
See ya.
Oh, my gosh. See ya.